What's up, world? This is your man Precise, and I'm right here with your man D Nash. Fresh off the Laquan McDonald verdict. We're talking to D Nash because basically he's walked the planet for the children who have been getting shot to death here in the city. And we need to know what D Nash thinks about the verdict and what direction he wants Chicago to go after this. How you doing, brother?
I'm alright. Yeah, it's your boy D Nash, guy that walked 672 miles from my grandmother's house on the south side of Chicago about gun violence and my initiative replace guns with hammers. There's no D Nash without Laquan McDonald. I always call it my 9/11, my ground zero. It was what made me actually get out my bed. I was like, man, it's just time. I felt like it needed to be a mature voice, grown man, to get out on the front lines and really speak from a position of having been in the streets and what police violence does to us every day, all day in our community. So, you know, the verdict, and for one thing, it was just completing something. A lot of times in our community, we start things and don't finish them. So just seeing Laquan McDonald story to its end and to its completion of getting Jason Van Dyke found guilty, it was a wrestle just to even get him to this point with Will Calloway having to file paperwork in court to even get the tape released that, you know, for that they said that our mayor held. So for me, it was a culmination of things. It was just a whole lot of emotion. It was overwhelming because, how do I put it? It made me know that everything that I had did, getting out my bed, wasn't in vain. Not being at home with my girlfriend or my kids and making my family sacrifice, knowing that I needed to get out my bed and do something. And at this time, you know, it was like we couldn't see what was to come, but we had faith and we had a belief that if we kept on protesting, if we kept on speaking out, that justice would be served. So what it really was about was justice for Laquan, and I feel like, you know, when he got found guilty. Nah, he didn't get found guilty on first degree, but we all know it's hard to get premeditation on a police officer. He got second degree murder and then those aggravated assaults for each shot. And we had a victory. And it hadn't been done in Chicago in 50 years where a police officer was actually convicted. And then on a national scale is very rare. You know, but the second part is now, like I said before, is getting a sentence that reflects the loss of life for Laquan. I don't want it to just be a smack on the wrist. A lot of times that's what happens. But I'm gonna tell you the truth, even if it's a smack on the wrist, you know, police, a lot of people can't take what they dish out. So you know, man, him getting 6 years, him getting a day is like murder. You know what I'm saying? It's killing him. So, you know, he's gonna feel what he made a lot of other people feel when he was locking them up or doing other things. And you know, we can't get Laquan back, but this was justice for not only Chicago, Laquan, but throughout the country.
Wow, so what direction should Chicago go in right now off such a historic trial and a historic verdict?
Well, I'm hoping to build a foundation where we have intergenerational bridging that gap, the intergenerational gap, bridging that gap, because we need new eyes on old problems for new solutions, but we can't cut ourselves off from our elders.
Brother, say that one more time. We need new eyes.
We need new eyes on old problems for new solutions.
Yes, sir.
But we can't cut ourselves off from our elders. And what I mean by that, our elders is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Their eyes have seen what we have yet to see. They've been through more than what's to come for us. And the only reason why I was able to walk from Chicago to the White House in 2017, taking me 53 days to do it, was because of the sacrifices of our elders, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, all the people that lost their lives, civil rights movement, and even beyond that, was the reason why it was so successful was because at the end of the day, what I did was PG-13. What they did was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
You know, it was a time where you walked the country, you was gonna be murdered. So what I hope that happens right now is that the intergenerational now, their bodies are failing them, but their minds are sharp. Their minds are sharp. So I'm hoping that they put that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding into these bodies that, you know, we ready. And so then I want us to put down the guns. You know, one thing about Jason Van Dyke shooting Laquan McDonald, but look at what we do to ourselves every day as well as a community. You know, we got to hold ourselves accountable. We can't just sit here and say, well, you know, you rally when the police officer kill us. We got to have that same outrage when we kill each other as well.
Yes.
It's a difference between police being protected, being paid to protect and serve, but at the same time, black lives have to matter to black people.
Yes,
period.
sir.
So what I'm hoping is set a black agenda. You know, the walk went against everything they say about a black man in America. We start things and don't finish them. We lazy. We can't be lazy walking to the White House. We unintelligent every time I engage man, woman, and child in front of a microphone or a camera. Articulate, intelligent black man. And then lastly, they look for the anger in us. And I do everything with a smile. But that was the short goal. If you could say 672 miles was the short goal, my long goal was this: the return, coming back home, the planning. What does Blacktown look like? I say these three things about black people. We buy the best cars, but don't own gas stations. I'll say it again. We go ride the Wraith, but we ain't gonna think about owning what makes the Wraith go. So we don't own gas stations. Then we have people in our community that sell groceries to us that they religions not even fit to eat. We have Arabs in our community that sell us pork. So I don't mind gentrification, but as long as you giving me the best of your culture. This is not a takeover. It has to be a partnership. It has to be an empowerment of the people that's already in the community. This ain't no moving out. You can't do what you want to do in our community. Finally, we have credit problem. And we don't own, a lot of us don't have contract phones. We have pay-as-you-go plans. We don't own cell phone service providers in our community. All three of those things, gas stations, grocery stores, and cell phone service providers, are all the residual income in our community. That is the wealth. We don't own that either. So that after we get that plan together, how are we gonna, you know, take back our community? Which is the third part, which is the takeover, which is the take back of our community. Owning all three of those things that I just talked about, but businesses, also just having a voice in our community, not allowing people just to come in and do what they want to do. You rarely see black-owned businesses, if you even see one in Chinatown, but you go see a Chinese restaurant in Blacktown. You very rarely see that we can go to other parts of towns and thrive, but you go see every ethnic group in our community eat off our community and don't put nothing back into our community. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping our construction sites look like us. I'm hoping that a lot of things look like us in our community, and that we control the wealth of our community. And then we can solve a lot of these issues. A lot of these issues with these young men and women shooting each other come down to money. Ain't no money out here. You know, and that's just the honest God's truth. People that can do something, they don't. And that's what we got to get away from, man. It seems like black people are hoarders, but we hoarders of nothing. Because we still only got the same 1% of American wealth that we had before Martin Luther King died.
Right.
So what is the progression? You know, and these pastors and everybody else got to get out of their comfortable homes, churches, and jobs and do something. I ain't expect nobody to walk to the White House. God put that assignment in me. But I expect you to do something. God, family, friends, and the village.
Yes, sir. D Nash, brother, thank you so much, man, for taking out some time to speak with us.
Yeah.
And where can people find you?
D Nash 425 on Instagram, Demetrius Nash on Facebook.
Yes, sir. Peace, brother.